LakelandCarKeys.com. I'm currently working on a 2005 Honda CRV with the 2006 Honda CRV, and the blade had broken out the remote key, so we're going to set them up with a new remote key. I am going to pull the glove box lock so that I can get the key code to cut that blade. So on the Honda CRVs, a stubby Phillips head works best for this. You just go ahead and drop down the glove box. Pull out the two screws and the whole lock assembly should come out. Now I'm probably going to have to pause the video once I have it out so I can take it apart, because I'm going to need two hands. But I'll show you how to get the key code from the lock. Now a lot of Accords and Civics have the trunk lock that's down there on the floor, and on those I usually pull that out and I'll have the key code stamped on it. Right? Alright, so this is the lock assembly, and then it has these three little tabs on it. You just want to peel them up and pop this plastic cap off. Alright, so once that cap is off, there's this one Phillips screw. We want to take it off, but we can leave the arms attached, because the code that we want is actually right down there, down the bottom of that barrel. But I gotta remove it so that I can see it fully. Alright, I'm not gonna zoom in on it, but once I flip the lock over a little bit, I can see the code. It's stamped right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into my machine, and we can cut our new key blade by code. Alright, so I got the new key set up in the machine, and I am going to go ahead and flip over to screen record so you can see it in the key machine. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to show his key code, but I'm going to go ahead and set this up and start cutting, and then we go ahead and I'm actually going to do a clone on this using the VVDI Mini. Alright, so I got the key code in the machine, and we're going to cut his new key by code. Whenever I do these Honda keys, the cut depth always starts out at 1.05 millimeters, and I just hit the plus sign one time to change it to 1.10 millimeters. That helps the blade fit into the keyholes correctly. I actually did one of these last night on my daughter's Honda CRV, where I actually had to cut the blade twice for it to actually fit into the lock. So the machine doesn't always cut it 100% accurate. Sometimes you got to go through and do a double cut, but I like changing the depth a little bit because it helps it. So once this is done cutting, we can I can go ahead and just use my Q2 Plus because I have it here. And basically, I'm not sure if I could switch while I'm controlling the key machine, but basically I'm going to put his key in, read the original transponder that was programmed, and this key here already has a super chip in it, so I can copy that information directly to the new transponder, and then we could just do the onboard procedure to program the remote. Alright, so once this is done cutting, I'll have to flip it over, cut the other side, and then we can go ahead and clone the chip and move on to the car. And just like last night with my daughter's CRV, it still felt a little bit tight in the lock, so I'm going to go ahead and just double cut it one more time. I actually changed the cut depth to 1.15, which is two hits of the plus button. So I'm just going to go ahead and double cut this on the right side. And then also just make sure that the key is a level in the chuck when you're doing it, because if it's a little crooked, then one side's going to cut deeper and then one side's going to cut shallow. So just make sure that you have it aligned right. But like I said, sometimes you just got to double cut them just to make sure you get everything good. And then, it always helps to have a little hand file and just, clean up the burrs on the edges of these Honda high security keys, and that also helps them fit a little bit better. Alright, so I just recut the front, I flipped it over to the back, and I was just going to show y'all what I was talking about. So when you hit cut key, it brings up the page and it says the recommended cutting depth, but I'm just going to hit it twice and cut it a little bit deeper. So the last one was 1.10, this one's 1.15, and when it goes through all the checks, it's gonna, you know, go through and cut. But when it gets to the part where it's doing the second round, you'll see it just shave just a little bit more off the depth, and that makes it easier going in and out of the lock when, you know, it feels a little bit tight. It's not actually changing the cut pattern. Alright, so now it's getting ready to cut the lower depth, and as you see, it's not really taking that much off. This is the second round of the cut on this side, and, you know, increasing the cut depth only just shaves just a little minimal coming down off the key, just to make it a little bit more smoother going in. And I know it might not seem like much, but that little increase just makes a world of difference on the tightness of the key fitting into the lock. Alright, and then this particular key, we're going to go ahead and clone his original transponder. So we hit transponder clone, hit read, and it tells us this is a Megamos 13. So this particular key, I was actually out of the actual CRV key, and this is a Honda Accord key from the same generation. Now the remote FCC IDs are identical, it's just the Honda Accord key has an ID46 chip, where this takes a Megamos 13, but because we're cloning it, I put a super chip in here, and it will automatically set it as that correct Megamos 13. So I'm going to go ahead and hit transponder clone, let it start clone, and then it read the chip and it's telling me to take it out and put my super chip in. So we're going to put the new key there and then hit continue. Alright, and then that copied successfully. So now we should be able to get in the car and just start it up, and then we can do the onboard procedure for the remote. Alright, and here we are inside the vehicle, and we just test. Alright, so that's nice and smoothly going in and out, and that's what we want to feel. We flip it over, just test the other side. Nice and smoothly going in and out. Turns fine. There's a little resistance turning, but these Honda security, high security locks, once they start going bad, they're like that, but this one will be fine. So we're going to go ahead and start the programming. I mean, this is just a little reminder to everybody. If you're calling to have someone come do some work on your car, make sure your battery's good, you know. So here I am in the middle of the job. This guy, his battery was completely dead, but I don't even think it's the battery, because when I hook up my jump pack, it's giving me an error. So it seems like he got some wires crossed somewhere, but he knew the battery was dead before I got here and didn't charge it. And now he wants me to wait while he runs to the store to go get a new battery, and I don't have time for this. So before you have someone come out and work on your car, make sure everything's straight, and make sure your battery's charged, make sure you have fuel, make sure it's cleaned out, nothing's in their way. And when they're working on it, just stay out their way, please. Alright, so this one ended up being a long one. There was some issues with the car that was unknown, and basically it was a ground issue where it wasn't getting any power. We did get a new battery, and it took, you know, an hour of going through and disconnecting stuff to see where the bad ground was. And we did end up finding a loose ground wire. The customer told me that before he wouldn't get any power unless he plugged his scanner in. So on the DLC connector, there is two grounds. You got your chassis ground and your signal ground, and they're pins 4 and 5. So I use my Go Diag GT105, and right here you see we got ground 4 and 5. If I push that button in, it connects them together. So with this unplugged right now, if I turn it, you hear that flickering down there? That was no good. And then on the chassis side, we found that this ground right here was loose. So we weren't getting any connections. You could hear the click, 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 click. His positive cable here was all corroded. So basically he's gonna have to get a new charge harness and replace it, because that gives power to the starter and the alternator, and then clean up all the chassis grounds. So without a good ground, it wasn't getting the connection that it needed. So with the Go Diag box, it jumped the pins 4 and 5, and I could see that the ECU and everything else, the immobilizer, it all came on. And then that's our immobilizer light. So right now it's flashing like it can't detect the key. Let me plug this Go Diag back in. And see, as soon as I plug that in, see how that clicking over there stopped clicking? Now we just lost connection with all that stuff. But see now how the immobilizer light goes out? That's a ground issue. So the vehicle will start up, it will run and drive. And I did do the onboard program procedure for the remote. So, oh, there you go. The doors are open, so it's not going to lock. But the remote's programmed. So the onboard procedure is turn it on, hit one button on the remote, turn it off, on, one button, off, on, one button, off. And on the 4th time, you leave it on. You hit one button, the locks just cycled. I don't know if you were able to hear that, but the locks did cycle, and then you press a button on the remote again. And the locks cycle, and every remote, I don't know if this battery is any good, or this one, I don't know. And then you shut it off, and then, see, that's how you program the remote. So this is a completed job. He's just gonna have to replace those cables and fix that ground issue again. So once I turn it on, my immobilizer is good. But if I unhook the Go Diag that's connected my ground wires, see how I got that clicking down there? Well, the immobilizer is still working, but he has bad ground without that plugged in. So he's gonna have to go over those ground wires. But I just want to give y'all a little insight in case y'all run into any problems, what to look for. All right, thanks for watching. LakelandCarKeys.com.